estas? Crimbese Azantes. Welcome, video lovers. Welcome to Tac Nerd 1.0. Adventurers, the time has finally come. Finally, I am going to do the if you only video. If you only had 5 guns that you could pick from, something, I don't know, whatever scenario you can think of, whatever metaphysics you can conjure of why this would have to be. Whatever the reasoning is, that's what it is, and you can only pick 5 forever. I know everyone's done one of these videos, so I'm going to try to go outside the mold a bit. But for the first one, for the first of the 5 guns video, we're going to pick something fairly common. So, and this is going to be, of course, it's going to be the Glock 19. And this is actually a clone. I have shown this many times on my channel. This is the SET framed Glock clone, and really like this weapon a lot. It's kind of customized as much as I will customize, and it shoots real nice. The trigger on it is real nice. Beautiful barrel, beautiful Roscoe barrel. We've talked about that before. The SET frame, I think, is nearly perfect for what I would like for a handgun. It's still got that Glock feel to it, but it's really grippy, really nice in the hand, feels really good. And of course, it takes Glock parts, so very easy to work on. And that's going to be something that I'm going to hit on quite a bit in this video, is if you only have 5, I'm going to want something that you can repair easily and that you can get parts for easily. And I think this would be king for that. So Glocks, any sort of Glocks, even the Glock clones, are going to be fairly hardy. Now, I've talked about this one before. I outfitted the insides. This is mainly OEM Glock parts. So there's really not much that you would expect to go wrong. But again, if it does, there would be no issues finding parts for it. It is a Glock 19, so it is not full size, but it's pretty close to being full size. And it's right in that zone of full size versus, compact, where you can certainly carry this concealed and get away with it fairly easy. People have carried Glock 19s forever concealed, but you still get that, full pistol feel. It's not something like you have one of those micro compacts. This carries 15 rounds. And that's the other thing about this. So yes, it does take the normal G19 magazines, it's just 15 rounds, but it will also take 17 magazines. So if you, for some reason, run out of magazines or yours breaks or whatever, and the only thing you can find is a Glock 17 magazine, there you go. It fits. Now, this is a cheap ETS mag. I just use these for range mags and such, but this fits, and it fits well. And you can even get little doodads here to cover that up if you really want to. It's really not necessary, but you can fit nearly any Glock magazine in here. Even, you could even get the 33 round fun sticks in here if you really wanted something like that. They'll fit and they'll work well. So I think that's a big selling point for me for the Glock 19, is you have a lot of magazine options. You have a lot of part options, as I said, and it's 9mm, which you're going to be able to find just about anywhere. So, if this was going to be one of my only 5 and maybe one of my only pistols, I don't think you could do any better. So that's it. That's the first of the onlys, the only 5. What's up next? Let's see. All right, folks. Number 2 in the if you could only have 5 guns video. And I know I said I was going to go outside the bounds a bit, and I will do that, but not right now. Not yet. Stay tuned, but not yet. So of course, this is going to be, number 2 is going to be the AR-15. And I think that you really probably shouldn't choose anything else. So unless you're in maybe a restricted state, or you're in an urban setting, something like that, where you can't pick an AR-15, you know, maybe then, you know, some other type of rifle, maybe something more traditional, you know, that might be something more in your that would be more beneficial to you. But I think any other choice, it's got to be this. And really for the same reasons that you're picking a Glock 19 for the pistol. And that's because of its ubiquitous and its usefulness, its hardiness, and the fact that the parts are everywhere. Ammo is going to be everywhere. Again, I don't really think you could pick anything else. I think this has got to be on your list. Now, I've had this on my channel many times before. This is actually chambered in 7.62 by 39. So I would not pick this exact AR-15. I would probably pick one in 5.56. And again, that is because that is a standard NATO caliber. It's very available here in the States. So 7.62 by 39 used to be pretty available. It still kind of is, but because of sanctions and wars and rumors of wars, it's getting to be where it is harder to find. So I still think the 5.56 is probably your best choice, as well, because it is a proven caliber. It's easy to carry, and again, you're going to be able to find it anywhere. So you know, as rounding this out, it's easy to shoot these things. They're very low recoil. They're easy to use, easy to aim. It's easy to teach someone how to use them. You know, you can generally get someone up and running with an AR in 5-10 minutes, and they can be on target. Put a red dot on it, and you know, it's going to be a win game for them. You know, obviously have them practice a bit, but they're not hard to use. So that's your plus there. Also, they're fairly light. One that isn't too kitted out. This one really just has the red dot on it, and that's it. You should come in around, you know, 7.5, maybe 8 pounds. Get yourself a decent sling and you'd be fine. Magazines, you're going to be able to find everywhere. Everywhere. Any sporting goods store is going to have AR magazines. Parts also, you're going to be able to find anywhere. Whereas something like an SKS or an AK, if that breaks down, if something happens with it, it's going to be real hard to find anything for that. Now, you know, it's been said that the AK is hardier and it's going to last longer. That may be true. Their barrels may last a little longer, but replacing an AR barrel is going to be pretty easy. And honestly, with the amount of these out there, it's very likely you're going to be able to find barrels for them. And again, to replace one, it just takes some hand tools, maybe a vise, if that, and you might be back up and running. Whereas an AK, if your barrel goes down with that, you're going to need a press. You're going to need a press and some heavy duty tools to be able to do that. And not something that I would want to tackle for sure. But yeah, I think for ammo, for parts, for magazines, you really cannot go wrong. In fact, if you had a only 2 guns video, yeah, I might very well just pick the AR and a Glock 19 and go with that. But you know, the only other thing that might displace this is a decent shotgun. So, but that's it. That's number 3 in the if I only had 5 guns. All right, adventurers, we are at number 3 for if you could only have 5 guns. And here's where we start taking a bit of a departure. I did promise you that we would take a departure. Here we have the shotgun. Now, I think everyone probably would agree to have a shotgun on their list. However, as I said, I am going to make something of a departure. Most people are going to pick the pump action shotgun, either a Remington 870 or Mossberg 500, 590, Maverick 88, what have you. I think that's what most people are going to pick. And that is a solid choice. Nothing wrong with that choice. And in fact, you know, I went back and forth on that. But I still think for this kind of a scenario where I could only have 5, and if that's in my shotgun category, I am going to pick a double-barreled shotgun. And now this specifically is a coach gun. If I had one that had a little longer barrel, I think that would be great. I'd probably go for that. But this fills a lot of roles. This still feels that protection role that you would have for home and hearth and such like that. You can get a lot of game with this as far as, four-legged or winged. Probably that's a good choice. The other reason really why I think this is a solid choice, though, is, as I have said in like my first pick for the Glock, there's very little to break down here in this mechanism. There really isn't that much going on for a double action shotgun. The other reason is all of the reasons that I have previously talked about in my video talking about the advantages of a single shot shotgun. This pretty much has all of those. Other maybe than weight, this possesses all of those benefits as well. So, you can use barrel inserts. Now, in this, you can use 2 of them, obviously, since it's a double barrel. You can use barrel inserts. You can use, different types of ammo. You can use those mini shells. You can use, use slugs or buckshot or birdshot, whatever is going to work here with this. And as I said, you can pretty much hunt anything with it. There is nothing in North America that's going to stand up after a shotgun slug. So that is pretty reassuring if you have that. Now, yes, are you limited on ammo? Yes, you probably are. But again, for your uses for this, I think you're probably fine with that in this instance. If you need more than 2 shots, you have your other stuff that you can go to. You have your AR, you have your pistol, you have all of that. So you can reserve you can reserve this for the hunting, food gathering role, such like that. So I really think, as I said, that this is a solid choice for my third spot in the you can only have 5 guns video. All right, we're going to move on to number 4. All right, number 4 in the you can only have 5 guns video. And this is it. Again, I believe another departure. I think most people in the slot for the 22 rifle, I think everyone is going to agree that you do want to have a 22, either pistol or rifle in this category. Most people, I think, are probably going to pick a 10-22. Again, that is a very solid pick. It is semi-automatic. You can send quite a few 22s downrange. It's a solid performer. They don't often jam. They'll work pretty nearly with any kind of ammo. But I will say, I think I still like the Henry, specifically the Henry lever action in that role. I think you have a much more robust action here, less likely, I think, to break down. Again, this also fires any sort of 22 ammo also. So this will fire the really quiet stuff, such as the calibres, the super calibres. It'll fire the 22 shorts, the 22 CB shorts, 22 longs, 22 long rifles. Everything will fire out of this gun with no issue and with no, loading it right into the chamber or anything like that, which is a departure from the 10-22. So that's why I picked it. Also, this rifle is extremely accurate. I think more so definitely than the 10-22. Also, I think it's, in any sort of prepping or survival type scenario, I think this rifle is less likely to cause any sort of commotion, anything like that. And really, I think anything you need a 22 for, I think the 22 lever action will fill that role just as good as the 22 semi-automatic. So I think there's going to be very, very few instances where you need to send that much 22 downrange where this wouldn't work just as well. So you can get these things pretty quiet. Now, I don't have a suppressor or anything. I think a lot of people would say that that's one of the reasons they'd pick a 1022, because it has, it may have a threaded barrel. None of that matters for me. I don't have a suppressor and I have no intention to get one. So for me, if I want to be stealthy and quiet, I'm going to use probably CB shorts or, the Calibres or Super Calibres, something like that. And those feed just fine through here. So again, I think this is a pretty solid choice. I know you guys are probably thinking at this point, I'm some kind of FUD or something, but I really do think that that's the best choice for that role. Next up is our last one, our fifth gun, and you can only have 5 gun scenario. Let's take a look. All right, folks, we have come to the end of the video. This is the fifth and final gun in the if you could only have 5 guns challenge. And here we are. This is going to be, again, promised a departure, and this certainly is. This is the Spanish FR7. I've shown this few times, I think, on my channel before. This is it's just your basic bolt action rifle, and this is a milsurp, and it's chambered in 7.62 NATO, and that is pretty much the reason I'm picking it. Now, I will tell you, I did go back and forth a lot on this because I really almost chose my lever action 30-30 because that one is scoped, and that's kind of the reason, that's kind of what I wanted here. Is I wanted just a 30 caliber long range rifle that I would have for for any instance that would call for. I would want, again, I'd want something in 30 caliber. I still think that this is the right choice though. 7.62 NATO is respectable caliber in that instance. These are rated fine for 7.62 NATO, and the only issue with this rifle is that it is not scoped. So if that instance came along where I could only pick 5, I probably would fit a scope on this, as much as some milsurp lovers would hate. I believe you can take off this upper handguard here, and there is a way to fit a rail on there, and I'd have to use a scout scope, which I do have some, but that would probably be that role. Now, again, if I had something like maybe something like a Ruger American and 308, something like that, I probably would have picked that as my choice. I just don't have one at this point, so this is probably what I would go for, and I think it would fit that role just fine. As I said, it was a battle. I really do like my 30-30. A lever action would be a great choice in that instance as well. Problem is, I think with 30-30, 2 major issues. One, your range is going to be much more limited than 7.62 NATO. 7.62 NATO is also a Spitzer type bullet. It's going to travel better through the air. You're going to get more range through it because of that. Also, I think 30-30 is just going to be, now, even though it still is very popular, it's certainly not as popular as 7.62 NATO. 7.62 NATO is literally a NATO caliber, and that's going to be a lot easier to find. So that's really the crux of why I chose that. So anyways, there you have it, folks. That is my if you could only have 5 guns video. Hoping this starts some discussion. If you have anything to say, if you want to yell at me, tell me I'm stupid, go right ahead. Put that down below. Let me know your picks, what you think would be the ones that you'd want to take with you or you'd want to keep with you. And that's pretty much it. That's the 5 guns video. So folks, I hope you were entertained. I hope you got something out of this. If you would, on your way out, if you would like, share, and subscribe, don't forget to fire off a shot at that bell notification. And if you would, consider giving us one of those super thanks. Again, if you were so entertained. Are you not entertained? We would love that. And consider joining as a member.
Wow.
We're going to be starting our membership up with exclusive videos and early videos and merch and your social media, all kinds of that stuff. So let's converge on the membership thing. And if you have any questions or anything, again, leave them down below. Folks, This is Tack Nerd, and I am out of here.